Hello there. A few weeks ago, I posted a video that talked about the Inknote Color Plus, and I focused in particular on the user experience or UI. Since then, that UI has actually changed. And while most of the underlying functionality is pretty much the same, there is certainly a change in the looks and the organization of that UI. So I'm posting another video as a supplement to the previous video to talk about those changes and how the device differs from before. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get on in. I'm currently on my standby screen, so I'll hit the power button and go to my home screen. Now, the first thing I think you might notice is that the upper bar is much cleaner than before. So previously in your home screen, there were a number of buttons above, there was a little bit of a notification center, and now that's been replaced simply with the date and time, which serves as kind of a home button in and of itself, and then the battery percentage. If you want to see any of the buttons that have been present up there, you have to swipe down from the top, and you can either swipe from the left, center, or right. So I'll go ahead and just do that. And then you see a notification bar, very similar to what you see in books, where you've got your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth available, and then a number of those buttons that you had seen before on top are now here in the center. In addition, you have the warm and cold light options and your music volume as well. None of these buttons are new. It just changes the organization, and you'll notice that they're going to this theme of having apps in circles. So aesthetically, there's a difference there as well. Those circles carry over to the sides. They're native apps, for example, settings, scan document storage, app center notes, etc., and more. They're all now encased in these circles. The left bar is essentially just as functional as it was before. So if I have more apps on the left bar than there's space, then you can drag them and then reveal any apps below or drag down to return to the top. One difference on the left side is that menu management used to exist here, where now there's a settings button. So if I click on the settings button, you can see on the left pane here all the options that had been on a menu that filled the entire screen before. And the structure is pretty straightforward. You've got your connectivity options here, your stylus, which again is Bluetooth connected, is here. Any type of your power sleep functions are here. And then down below, you have home style, which again determines whether notes is your home screen or your app drawer is your home screen. Menu management, which is what used to be at the base of your left bar, and this allows you to decide which apps show up on the left bar. Um, you have language, system font size, pretty much all the things you see here, rotation, gesture settings, etc. These are all pretty standard, but they're streamlined in this menu system, which is now on the left. So really no change to the left bar. You can still change the order as you like. It's really all aesthetics. And in fact, that's what most of this change is. There is one difference, one significant add that isn't an aesthetic change. If you go into your App Center, there is a Chat GPT app, which you now have access to. Very interesting that they've added this in. I have not created an account. I don't have an interest in using this, but I think it's a smart idea that they've added this in. I'll go ahead and cancel out. And for those of you that may not be familiar, Chat GPT is this language model that allows you to start a query. Here are some examples of potential queries you can start with. And then the device using its database will return a result, and then you can refine that result further by additional queries. And so you're essentially having, if you will, a running conversation with the chat bot in order to get the information that you want. Very interesting. Now, as far as I can tell, this does not actually integrate with any of the other apps on the device, so it's kind of a standalone device. There might be a cut and paste functionality. I'm really not sure about that. Um, but I think it's a smart idea to have this in here because the ChatGPT is a particularly useful tool in a number of things in terms of gathering information, in terms of thinking how you want to structure something that you might be wanting to write or develop. So I think it's a smart idea for them to add this in here. And so now this is new as part of their new UI. One last change that I want to talk about as it relates to notes is the interface within Notes. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a notebook. Here we go. And what's different here is that everything is on this top bar. So previously, the pens were actually on a sidebar, which you could then hide on the side of the device. I used to keep mine down here. But instead now it's up here. So you still have 5 pen choices. You have your eraser function, your toolbar, undo and redo, and then you have your page buttons. And if you click on that 1-2, it'll show you a screen with the 2 pages, so you can quickly jump to those. And if you click on the right arrow, it will either go to the next page or create a new page depending on your context. The templates, this is a template that I imported as a PDF. It's great that you can do that because the native templates are terrible. That hasn't changed at all. But again, you can just simply find on the internet a free version of a template that you like and then bring it in as long as it's a PDF, and it works just fine. This is a little bit of a change too. This is the title of the notebook, so you can click on that name and then you can rename it. One thing it doesn't do is if you click on it, it does not have an X. So if you wanted to clear out the entire screen, you have to backspace all the way and then type in whatever your new name is. So kind of wish they'd added that X in there, but otherwise it's pretty functional. The one last thing I'll show is there is this toolbar function. So if you click on that, it does create this other bar. And then you have the ability to keep that bar. So if you highlight like that, it ends up on the left side. I do find it a little difficult to click on this left bar to get it to appear. But other than that, it's pretty good. And then what you have available is, again, pretty much the same as before. So you have templates. I really like that icon better than the books icon. That's just a personal preference of mine. You have shapes. You can insert a file. You can put in a text box. You can share. You can crop. This is the equivalent of the lasso tool. You can delete a page. I guess you can encrypt your file, sync it. You can allow for rotation, and then that's whether you want to allow for touch swipe. So again, I don't think any of that functionality is new, but the menu structure and how it looks is. And that's pretty much it in terms of the changes, at least the most obvious changes anyway. If any questions, please let me know, but that is your tour of the new UI for the Bigme Inknote Plus. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you later.